To make this decoration, I've just got some eggs which I've punched a hole in the top with a nail and made a slightly bigger one at the bottom, and then all you do is blow all the insides out. I did these yesterday, so they're all nice and dry, so it's preferable to have them quite nice and dry before you start. I bought this little egg holding painting tray many years ago, so I've just placed my egg in there, and now I'm going to be doing two different colour eggs. So the first one I'm going to be using Scarlet Lake to paint the entire egg. For this one, all we have to do is rotate the little handle on the side, and it rotates the egg for me, so you don't get your hands all dirty. And then just put that aside to dry. While we're waiting for that to dry, I'm going to be using this polymer. It's normally used for nails, and I've got a tiny little mold. It's a little 3D mold like this, which are really tiny little roses and flowers. I'm going to be making up some of the polymer solution and putting it into the bigger rose here so that I can make 6 of those. And then I'm using this activator for the polymer. Just decanted a tiny bit into a little container so that we can activate the polymer. So just open that. Dipping my brush in, and then taking a tiny bit and then squashing it into the little rose that I want, which is that one there. And then just wait for that to set. As I said, I'm going to make 6 of those. Make sure each time you use the polymer to clean your brush once you've dipped it into your solution so that the brush doesn't go hard. So the polymer is dry, so all you have to do is just take it out, and then you've got your tiny little rose like that. The red paint is all dry, so now I'm going to be using this, which is called Rich Gold, and we're going to paint the egg. And then just paint the whole thing. So that's what it looks like after the first coat. So I'll put that aside to dry, and then we'll do another coat. I've got all my little roses made, and what I've done is taken a piece of plastic, and I've taken a piece of sellotape or sticky tape and just stuck it at the back reverse by twisting it so the sticky side is facing upwards, and I've just stuck my little pieces on there. And now I'm going to just paint them all black. I'm using Mars Black acrylic paint to do these. And then just paint them all. I've made 6 large ones, and I've made 6 smaller ones. I've made a few extra just in case they don't look nice when I paint them gold. I've got a piece of 2mm gold wire, which is quite a nice thin wire, and all I'm doing is taking my glue bottle and just wrapping the wire around the top so I can get a circle. You can choose whatever size that you want. I think this would make quite a nice size for my eggs. And then I'm going to just cut that off. Once you've cut your ring, you'll notice that these 2 little pieces are a little bit straight in comparison to the ring. So all you have to do is just bend them just a little bit round like that, so that they line up when you close it up like that. And now I'm going to be taking some of my T8000 glue and gluing the ring together. And just wait a little bit for the glue to get a little bit tacky, and then squash it together. The remainder piece of my wire is 29.5 centimeters, so I'm going to be cutting 3 pieces out at 9.5 centimeters. and I'm just using the one as the template to do the next cut. So I've got my 3 pieces cut like that. I'm using this really small round nose pliers, and I'm putting it right at the end where I want it so that nothing is sticking at the top, and then you're just going to rotate it so that we can make a little loop like that. And we're doing the same on the other side. This time I'm going to make the loop just a little bit bigger by going halfway down the middle of my pliers and then rotating that as well. Just checking that you're rotating in the same rotation as the bottom one. So holding it in that direction, I'm going to be going, this one is coming inward, so I'm going to be going outward with this one. So we've got them looking like that. And now we're just going to shape this. And then do the 3 of them exactly the same. I've got all my pieces made, and for this particular one I'm going to be using the T8000 and hot glue to put these together. On this circle, from where I joined it, I'm measuring out 2 centimeters in either direction and measuring 2 centimeters across the center here so that they all are exactly the same. I'm using a 0.4 silver coated copper wire, and I'm cutting 10 centimeters, and I'm cutting 3 pieces of that so that I can attach the legs to the circle. And now we can glue them on. So I'm starting where I joined before, putting a blob of glue there and attaching my first piece. That's the position of the first one. I've got the one leg glued on, so now I'm taking the wire and I'm putting it through the center and holding a little piece like that and then threading it through the center of the ring. And then up over the curled part again. And then round the ring. So it's touching the leg to the ring like that, and just go around it a few times. So I've got the one leg all wired on, and I've glued the wires closed just on the top there. And now do the same to the other 2. I've got all the legs glued on, and now we can decorate our little stand, which stands like that. I've made a second ring exactly the same size as the first one, and I'm going to cut it off and glue it in exactly the same way. And then we're going to be taking the little stand and we're going to be wiring the second ring to the legs like that. I'm using the same 0.4 millimeter wire, and what I'm doing is taking it, putting it through, getting the center point, and then just wrapping it around like that. And then we'll separate the wires and attach them around each of the legs. The gold egg with the red underneath it is dry now, and now I'm going to paint the next one black. Some of the other eggs I've just painted plain gold, so you see there's quite a difference in the colour. So this is more of a rose gold and that's more of a gold. I've painted my egg black, and now I'm just going to put that aside to dry. To decorate my stand, I've got some of these they're called teardrop stickers, and I'm going to be taking a few of those and gluing them on. They are self-adhesive, but I am still going to be using T8000 glue to stick them on. So I'm taking one of them and I'm going to be placing one on the top on each of the points there. So I've got the glue on, so all I'm doing is taking them and putting them on like that. And then I've got some which I'm going to be putting down this side. One on that side and then one on this side. And then the small little rows that we've made, I'm taking some hot glue and I'm going to be sticking them on those sections there. One that side and one on the other side. I'm going around and doing it on all the sides, exactly the same. I've glued all the roses and embellishments on the top pieces, and now on these small little pieces at the bottom here on both sides I'm taking the smaller roses and gluing those on. To cover the glue and wires over here, I'm taking some of these round ones and I'm going to be putting three, one on each side and one in the middle, just to cover the glue. I've got all the little stones on, and now on the inside, to just cover the wires just over there, I'm taking some more glue and going to glue another one of the stones just on there. So now all the wires are covered. I'm going to do the same on the other two sides. To decorate this one, I've got these beautiful black and silver rhinestones. They're called rhinestone borders, but I'm going to be using them to place onto my egg. So the first ones I'm going to use are these really small rhinestones. I'm just going to take a strip out because we've got to start at the top. So I've got it marked in the center there. I started them off on my finger because these are self-adhesive ones, but I like to glue them on as well. So I'm going to just take this little piece and put some hot glue on there and then glue it onto the top. I've glued the start on, which is just going round and round, and now we just take more and just cover until you get to the black part, or you go down as far as you want to go. I've gone down as far as I want to on the top, and now I'm going to do the exact same thing on the bottom. I've done the bottom as well, and now I'm going to be taking some of my little rhinestones, and I've put one of them on already, and I'm just going to be doing them directly opposite each other. So I'm putting 4 of them on, so across from each other. I've put all 4 of them on, and now I'm going to be taking the small piece that comes in the center here, which looks like a little butterfly, so I've cut those ones out, and I'm going to be placing those like that in the gaps on the 4 sides. Because I want them to look like butterflies, I've taken 3 of the little diamantes and placed them on top like that. I've got an assortment of different size rhinestones, and I'm going to be taking the medium size one, and I'm going to be placing them one on top and one below the butterfly that I just put in there. I've completed the egg, by placing all the big stones above all my little butterflies. And now to finish the top off nicely, I've got these really nice little flower rhinestones, which I'm just going to take one of those and glue it onto the top like that. To decorate the rose gold egg, I've got an assortment of pearls. So I've got some that look like that and different sizes, half shaped, and some really small ones, and a really nice pattern one. So I'm going to try and make a design for my egg. To do the top, I'm going to be using these really small beads, which are also pearlescent, and once again we're going to just make the little circle and then glue it all the way around the top. And just keep gluing. I'm going to be going to just where the red paint ends. So I've done the top, and now I'm going to do the exact same thing at the bottom. Now because this has got quite a big hole in it, I'm going to put a little piece of paper over that so that the beads don't fall in there. I've got myself a small piece of paper which I'm just going to be gluing on. And now I can glue the beads on without them falling in. I've cut my design out so that I've got the pieces that I want to use. So I'm going to be using this particular piece, and I've cut two of those out like that. So these will be the only two that I'm going to be using from this big design for the time being. So now I'm going to take one piece, and I'm going to be sticking it onto my egg like that. As I said, they're self-adhesive, but I will be using hot glue as well. And then I'm going to do the same on the other side. So I've got them placed one on one side and one on the other side. And now we're going to fill this small gap. I've cut one of the butterflies from the other piece of rhinestone strip that I was using, and I've also cut some of the curly pieces off this one, which I'm going to be placing in the middle of the space like that, and the butterfly just there. And then I'm using some of the small rhinestones as well to just place on the sides. And I'm doing the exact same thing on the other side. I've also got these tiny black rhinestones, which I'm going to be using as well. And then I'm just going to put one in the center of the little curl. And then I'm doing the other side exactly the same. And in the center of these, of the first design that I put on, I'm going to be putting one of the clear rhinestones like that, just in the center. The gaps are looking a little bit large here, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to be putting some little stones in it just to fill some of the gaps up like that, and I'm just using the silver rhinestones for that. I'm using the same little flower to finish this one off as well. I'm just placing it on the top. I'll glue that down with some hot glue. So there's the rose gold one completed now. I've taken one of these rather large rose gold studs and I've just glued it into the bottom of my little stand. These are some more designs that I've made. This particular one I used champagne colour beads at the top, and I've just used bling wrap to complete it and put some little stones on it. The only difference with this one, I used a big rope so that these ones are freestanding. This one is also made with the pearls and bling wrap and just a few little embellishments on it, and once again the rope at the bottom so that these ones are freestanding like that. The other two I've made stands for them, so that's what those ones look like. If you found this video helpful or you enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up. Really appreciate it if you would subscribe. Thank you so much for watching.